Lecture number 23. Just I am going to continue in unit number 3 in operating system, and it is also related to the memory management. So after finishing of this, hopefully today, and I will start your next unit on the next day. Now, so far we have already discussed about the demand paging, and this topic is also related to the same, that is the pure demand paging. So pure demand paging. Now here you can see the extreme case, start process with no pages in memory. Okay. So whenever we will talk about the memory, then we always consider random access memory or the main memory. So if there is no existence of any pages, and if there is a need arise, then the operating system demand few pages to run the process or to store the data temporarily or the program temporarily. Okay. So as we have already discussed about the contiguous memory and non-contiguous memory allocation. Okay. So in contiguous memory allocation, the block size are same, different because random access memory divided into number of blocks. So the upper part is reserved for the system software and mainly for the operating system. So in the upper layer, or we can say upper portion of the random access memory, the operating system will reside, and rest of the space of the main memory or the physical memory we will use for the different number of user programs. Okay. So as the process will go in the CPU, central processing unit, for the creativity of the logical address, and after this it will store in the page table, and after it will go to the random access memory. Before that, it creates a number of frames equivalent to the number of pages. Okay. So what is the contiguous and non-contiguous? You are already aware. Okay, demand paging, if there is no existence of the page, number of pages in the main memory, then how we are going to recall, or we can say the call for the pages required for the process for the execution. Okay, so pure demand paging, it is also related to the same. That is, whenever we are going to start any process, and if there are no pages existence in the physical memory, then the operating system will send the demand and retrieve the number of pages. Okay, so the OS sets instruction pointer to first instruction of process, non-memory resident, that is the page fault. So if there is no existence of any pages, then we can say there is a page fault. Okay, if the process is executing and in the memory, the operating system will never find, we can say, the page. Okay, then it operating system will send the demand, or we can say the signal for calling of the pages. Okay, that is called the pure demand paging, if there is no existence of any page in the memory. Okay, and again there is a requirement of swipe in that page, because we have the data or the information, then from the CPU, and between the CPU and the memory, there is a swiping of the information will take place. Okay, so we can say swipe in that page. So if we have the number of pages, then the information may swap from CPU to the main memory or main memory to the CPU, central processing unit, or from main memory to the secondary memory. Okay, later on at the final stage. So it is called the pure demand paging. If there is no existence of paging, pages in the main memory and your process starts, then we can say pure demand paging. Okay, so this process is called the pure demand paging. And if there is no existence of pages, okay, during the demand or whenever we are sending the signal, then we can call it as the page fault. Okay, because there is no existence of any pages there. So this is also called the page fault. So actually a given instruction could access multiple pages. Now, what type of multiple pages? Here we can say the instructions plus data, because we have the combination of both the things, instructions as well as the information. Okay. So the page fault may occur maybe of one page or the multiple pages. Then accordingly, it is called the single page fault or multiple page faults. So here we can say pain decreased because of locality of reference. Okay. And it will depend on the program length, that how many pages are required. Okay. And according to that, according to the size of the page, we can calculate how many pages are required for the process of a particular program. Okay. And accordingly, we can find the total number of page faults there. Okay. So hardware support, what type of here we can say hardware support needed for demand paging. So for demand paging, we must have page table with valid or invalid bit. Okay. So whenever we are using this process, demand paging or pure demand paging, what is the difference between the demand paging and pure demand paging? If there is no any existence of the pages and your process has already been started. So start process with no pages. Then it is called the pure demand paging. Okay, demand paging, the process will start later. Okay, and we have already some pages or the signal has already been sent by the operating system for the demand of pages. So what type of hardware support is needed? Now you can see for the demand paging here, the page table with valid or invalid bit. So there is the existence of a bit. Then we can check whether this bit is valid or invalid, and accordingly we can take the decision. Okay. So if there is the existence of the page or not, so it will decided by the valid bit or invalid bit. Okay. So inside the page table, how we are going to judge whether there is the existence of the page or not. So here we will check the bit. Okay. So it will decide that bit p is equal to 0 or p is equal to 1. Okay. Valid or invalid. So for this, there are number of algorithms we will use to decide whether there is the existence of page in the page table or not. Okay. So if there is no existence of page in the page table, then we can say it is called the page fault. Okay. If there is a demand of the pages, okay, the signal is sent by the operating system for the demand of paging, but there is still no existence of pages, then we can call it as the page fault, no existence of pages at all. After that, we will again set the signal, okay, with the help of the valid or invalid bit that will decide the existence of the page, then we can call it as pure demand paging. Another here hardware support needed is the secondary memory. Okay, secondary memory is required swap device with swap space. Okay, because here with the help of the secondary memory, we can store or retrieve the information and we can swap to the random access memory, means to the temporary memory as per requirement. So after finishing of the execution, finally the information or the data will store in the secondary memory. So some swapping devices are needed. Swapping means interchanging or exchanging of the information from one device to another, or from secondary memory to the primary memory, or primary memory to the secondary memory, as well as CPU to the primary memory, physical memory, or physical memory to the central processing unit, because the execution always takes place in the central processing unit. So another third one is the instruction restart after page fault. Okay, if there is a no existence of the pages in the memory, then we can call it as page fault. And if the page fault occurs or exists, then we again restart the instruction or resend the instruction. Okay, just like the refresh of the device. So sometimes if some sort of problem will occur in any device, that is in the laptop or the desktop or even in your mobile, then we again send the signal or we again send the instruction, or sometimes in the hanging position, if it is not properly working, then we again switched off the device or switched on again. Okay, so we will use this process to restart the process. Now in demand paging, there are a few points which take place. How the during the demand paging, the trap to the operating system. Okay, so demand paging means no existence of the pages in the memory. So during that time, there is a trap to the operating system. So sometimes the hanging position occurs, or sometimes we can say uh, due to the more rush, okay, or less memory, sometimes the hanging position will occur. Okay, or we can also call as the deadlock condition. So during in case of the demand paging, again there is a trap of the operating system. So sometimes it does not work, the operating system. And another point related to the demand paging, save the user registers and process state. So sometimes we store the process in the user registers, okay, and process states. So whenever the process will start, there are number of process takes place. Okay, it is not just like just you are going to click only for the to run the program or to execute the program, okay, or to save the program. So there are a number of process or steps will take place, okay, during the completion of the process. Now in this diagram you can see here, whenever the process will start, okay, process means any program under execution. Okay, whenever we will use the word process, it means active program. Okay, active program, it is not the passive program. And it means the execution will taking place in the CPU. Okay, you are going to run your program means under execution. So there are several, we can say the states will take place. Okay, so here you can see the process will start here, new. Okay, and here you can see another state is called the ready state. Okay, another running state, this is waiting state, and this is termination. Okay, or we can call it as terminated. Now here the process will start, admitted. Okay, admitted, just your process is going in well direction, then it is called the ready state. You will come here. Okay, so the signal will approach here to the second state, that is called the ready state. And after this you can see here it will go to the running state. for the execution purpose. Here your program is ready. Okay, you have already done the compilation. Okay, so up here you are going to write your program. Here you are completed your program. Your program is ready to run. Okay, means you are going to compile here, and after this signal will go to the running state, means now your program is under execution and some sort of problems will occur, then it will return back to the ready state. Okay, so this is called the interrupt. Okay, sometimes there may be debugging, we can say the problem or some sort of error may occur, then again it will come to the ready state, or sometimes due to any interrupt of the program, it will return again to the ready state. Okay, so from this state, it may come to the ready state or it will go to the waiting state. If there are more number of processes are running, then you will give priority to another process here and you will run here another process. Okay, and that the old process, if it has some problem, then it will go to the waiting condition. Okay, and again after running the another process, this process which was in pending position, it will go again to the ready state, and again it will come to the under the execution state. Okay, now here the process is over and then it will go to the termination state or the terminated state. Okay, so this is also called the exit state. Now here everything is over and then you will get some desired output here as you want. Okay, so this is called the IO or event completion. This is IO or event wait. So here there are, now you can see. So this is called the block diagram or the process state diagram here. So the process you can save here in the user register and process states. So these are the various process states. So during the demand paging, what is going on? Now determine that the interrupt was a page fault. So interrupt is here. Now just I am going to compare in this process state diagram, then interrupt, this is a page fault. Okay, so sometimes the error may occur, and even though your program is okay from your side, and still it is not coming to the execution state, or it is creating some sort of problems, then this state is called the interrupt state. Okay, and we can treat as page fault condition. Okay, so check that page reference was legal and determine the location of the page on the disk. So here the operating system will decide about the location of the page on the disk. Okay, so we can calculate or get the location of the page. Okay, here with the help of the operating system, our operating system will give such type of information about the page fault and the page reference. So get a free frame, and again we will check which frame is here free. Okay, because whenever we are considering the logic for the random access memory, then the different blocks will act as a, the pages will act as a frames. Okay, so the number of pages is equivalent to the number of frames, and number of frames we will consider in context of the physical memory, and number of pages in case of the whenever the process has already been completed execution from the CPU. So till if it is in CPU, we will get the logical address and the number of pages that will store in the page table. Okay, and after that the same will be treated as the page frame, number of frames. Okay, so here issue a read from the disk to a free frame. So it will again select a free frame, which one is free. Okay, and wait in queue for this device until read request is serviced. Okay, so in this case, again, first we will find which frame is free, and the allocation will take place, and this interrupt may remove from here. Okay, because till that here, if we are feeling some problems here, the operating system getting some problem, then it is called the page fault. Okay, this interrupt will act as a page fault. So we will try to remove this page fault. Okay, now here we can say the several again number of points related to this. So how we are going to store our process into the registers and process state of the running process. Okay. Now restore user register. Again, we will restore the same process and process states, and new we will form the new page table. Okay. So after the page fault, again we will design the new page table after removal of the page fault. So we are not going to remove this, but operating system will going to remove all those anomalies and will form a new page table and then resume the interrupted instruction. So interrupted instruction means just we are getting some signal related to the page fault. Okay. So again, the operating system will form a new page table and then resume the interrupted instruction. Resume your process again. Now, how we are going to check the performance here? So demand paging affects the performance of the computer system. So if we are going to demand for the new pages here, demand paging, if there is no existence of the pages in the main memory, then how we are going to call all those pages, okay? But it will affects the performance of the computer system. So if there is a page fault, no existence of no any page in the main memory, if even though our process has already been started. Okay, so that is called the page fault. And if again we are going to demand for a new pages, then it is called the demand paging. Okay, or pure demand paging. Pure demand paging when process has already been resumed and is still no existence of pages in the main memory, then that is called the pure demand paging. So demand paging affects the performance of the computer system. Okay, so due to the page fault, it will affect the performance of the computer system because the access time will increase. Okay, because if any page fault will occur, then we have to wait for the next process or for the next page, and how the process, how the operating system is going to manage or to remove that page fault and creating the new page table, then till that the access time will enhance, will increase. Okay, so that will give direct impact over the performance of the computer system. Now, this is the one of the condition. Okay, for the page fault rate, we can say that how you are going to judge that page fault is going to occur. Okay, so this is the here the condition p is greater equal to 0, less equal to 1, like the probability. Okay, so this is the page here, page fault rate, this p. Okay, it is like the probability lies between 0 and 1. Okay, whether the page exists in the memory or not. Okay, or by the demand of the user, the operating system is going to manage the page, that is called the demand paging. Okay, so the process is demanding for the page, but due to the page fault, there is no existence of any page in the main memory. Okay, so this is the condition. If p is equal to 0, okay, page fault is 0, here p is equal to 0, no page fault. Okay, if the condition is 0, no page fault. If p is equal to 1, every reference is a fault. Okay, now here we will set the bit. Okay, that is called the valid or invalid bit. So in the next or next one or two slides, we will see that how the valid or invalid bit we can set. Okay. So another thing is the effective access time here, EAT. So we will calculate this because this will enhance, this will increase. Okay, because it will directly affect the performance of the computer system. So how we are going to calculate the effective access time here? So EAT, the formula is 1 minus P into memory access plus P page fault overhead plus swap page out plus swap page in plus restart overhead. So there are several factors. With the help of all those factors, we can calculate the total time here, effective access time here. That is called the EAT. Okay. Now it will also depend upon the condition, that is either P is equal to 0 or P is equal to 1. Okay. And memory access time here, we will check, it may be in nanoseconds or microseconds or milliseconds. Okay. And it will vary OS to OS. Okay, and it will also depend on the type of memory available. So in this way, we can calculate the effective access time here. Now here again you can see, suppose memory access time here is 200 nanoseconds. That just we are going to access the data here. The time is 200 here nanoseconds. So average page fault service time here 8 milliseconds. So average page fault service time. So it is the service time. Okay, if there is no existence of any page in the main memory, then that is called the page fault, and page fault service time, that just we are going to remove that page fault. Okay, then how the operating system is going to manage to remove this fault, then it is called the average page fault service time. Okay, suppose it is 8 milliseconds, then we are going to calculate the here, what is this effective access time? Okay, then the formula 1 minus P into 200 plus P 8 milliseconds here it is given, because average page fault service time is 8 milliseconds available or given in the problem here. Then we will change into the same unit, that is either in the microseconds or the nanoseconds or the milliseconds. So we will equalize our unit system. Okay. So here we can put the value and then we can calculate the time. Okay, EAT. So if one axis out of 1000 causes a page fault, then EAT is equal to 8.2 microseconds. So after calculation, we will get this time. So this is a slow down by a factor of 40. Okay, so here just we can compare that how we are going to utilize the swap space. Okay, how we are going to remove the page fault from the main memory. Okay, so in this way we can calculate the time EAT here. Now again we can here check that how do we allocate the fixed amount of memory among various processes. So whether the system is a single user system, okay, or multi-user system, it will depend. Then how do we allocate the fixed amount of memory? So fixed amount of memory, how we are going to allocate that? So again, how we will allocate that? So each process needs here minimum number of frames. Okay. So whenever we will talk about the process, then we will talk about the number of pages. Or in context of the main memory, we will talk about the number of frames. Okay. So if we are considering the CPU, here if the process in under the execution in the CPU, then we will get the number of pages and we will store into the page table. Okay, and after that those pages will convert into the or allocated to the number of frames. Okay, so each process needs minimum number of frames. So how many frames are required to run a process? Okay, so how we are going to allocate that? So minimum number is defined by the instruction set. Okay, it will depend on the length of the program, that how many frames are required for a particular program, or we can say how many pages are required to run a program. So it will depend on the size of the page. Okay, size of the page, or whether it is a fixed size page, or we can say if we are using the dynamic process, so then it may be variable size page. Okay, then approximately we can calculate the minimum number of pages are required to run a process. So, or the total number of pages required allocated for a particular program or for a particular process. So page fault forces to restart the instruction. So whenever a page fault occurs, okay, so page fault if occurs, then just there is a need to restart your program. Okay, restart the instruction or restart the program. So here we can say enough frames to hold all the pages for that instruction. Now the pages converted to number of frames. So whenever we will talk in context of the random access memory or the physical memory, then it is called the number of frames. Okay. So just you can consider here as an example, single address instruction. For the single address instruction, 2 frames are needed. Two address instruction, then 3 frames are needed. Okay. So here just we are considering, or we are talking in context of the random access memory. Okay, because the number of pages or offset will change into the number of frames and number of frame offsets. So for the single address instruction, you are, I think, already aware by the single address instruction and double address instruction or 2 address instruction or 3 address instruction in the microprocessor. You have already studied and may have idea regarding the single address instruction or 2 address instruction. So for a single address instruction, 2 frames are needed, and for 2 address instruction, 3 frames are needed. So maximum of course is total frames in the system. Two major allocation schemes here we use: fixed allocation or proportional allocation. Okay, so these are the two schemes which are used to allocate the memory. So first is called the fixed one, and another is called the proportional. Means they are variable size, variable allocation. Fixed like the paging, okay, because there we use the fixed allocation, and proportional in case of the segmentation. So allocation of frames here needed depends on multi-programming. They will use a proportional allocation scheme using priority along with size. So it will depend on the size, and as per size, we will give the priority to the allocation scheme. So here you can see how we are here allocating this. Now you can see there are two processes, P1 and P2. So in case of the P1, here you can check the load MJK. This is the logical memory for user 1, similarly logical memory for user 2, and how the valid or invalid bit is going to take place. So for each process, we have this system. Earlier, you have already seen this system. Okay. So in this case, we have only for process 1 logical memory as well as page table. Okay. We always have this. After logical memory, there is a page table, existence of the page table for user 1. Similarly, another process in case of the multi-programming, P2, again logical memory for user 2, and for this, we again have page table for user 2. So if there are more number of processes are running, then P3, P4 and so on. But for each process, we must have logical memory for a particular process and also the page table for a particular user or the process. Okay. But all the processes will share the same physical memory. Okay. And this is the secondary storage. Finally, we will store our data here. And now how we are going to decide that is the valid or invalid bit. if this bit is not existing here, this is the number of frames, and here we are going to decide whether this is valid or invalid bit. So it is showing V here. I means invalid. Okay, V means valid, valid, valid. Okay, so if the process is running here in the logical memory, and after this we will get the logical memory address, and again the number of pages will convert into the number of frames here. This is the page table, and the allocation will take place here, how the data is going to store in the page table. And the another here, you can see another column will decide in the page table whether the bit is valid or invalid. So as per valid or invalid, the page fault process will take place. Okay, so it will decide. If it is valid, then it is okay. If it is invalid, there is a page fault. So similarly for the another user or third process, fourth process, and so on, we will decide this. Okay, and after that it will go to the physical memory, and the all the storage will take place, the allocation will take place there in the primary memory, and finally it will, the process will go inside the secondary storage for the final settlement. Now this is the process 2, how the it is taking place, and how it is considering the valid or invalid bits. So this is the process 1, this is the process 2. So again I am here due to the less time. I am taking your attendance. So any query, please tell me, or you can discuss any point here. Or any question, please, or any query related to any other topic.